folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome back to more Best of 2021 coverage. Now, we've already posted our best games of the year, the top 10 games of the year. But every year, there are a ton of games that don't make that list. So these are 10 more great games. If you want, you can think of these as my 11 through 20 that did not make the list, but they are still fantastic games and you should check out. So here we go. Number 10, or is it number 20? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Great games. Number 10 is Lawyer Up. Lawyer Up is a two-player game in which you are competing in a courtroom, and one person is trying to prove that someone is guilty and the other person is trying to prove that they're innocent. Now, this is not a game that is about that the verdict is predetermined. We don't even know if the person committed the crime or not. What we're doing is we're making arguments for that. And it's card play back and forth as you're trying to use cards to sway the different jurors to your side. It's a very fun theme. There's even a couple cool expansions for it where you can do kind of a mob trial or a Salem witch trial, and they play out very differently, but it's a lot of fun, works really well for two players, and it's some nice just back and forth, think of tug of war as you're trying to win the hearts and minds of the jurors. Number 9 is Necro Molds. I was really pleased with Necro Molds. This is a miniature game that I can play with my kids or adults even, and you make your creatures, these necromantic creatures that you bring to life, the little slime creatures, out of Play-Doh, essentially. And then you're moving them around the board, moving them around, fighting, rolling dice. It's a fairly simple miniatures game until you defeat somebody else's creature. Then you take this ring and you smash it, leaving it a pile of just on the board. Now, the game is actually fairly innovative because when you build your army, you have a little jar of Play-Doh. And that's your points you have to build. So the creatures that might have more special abilities or more powers take more Play-Doh. You don't have to sit there and go, that's a 30-point creature. No, that creature takes this much, clay to build it. And that makes it fun, and strategic. But at the end of the day, it's about smashing your opponents. It's really fast, really simple. Necro Molds. Number 8. Oh, man. Furnace. Furnace is just a fantastic, straight-up engine-building game that just keeps getting better each time that I play it. I'm very impressed with this game. It's an auction game, and if you know my likes and dislikes, auctions are kind of been middling for me. But an auction game where losing is just as strategic as winning is a lot of fun. You then mix that half, the auction half, with the other half of the game, which is put cards and use these resources to do this. Very, very fun. So the first half, very interactive, auction. Second half, kind of a solo thing. So if you like either of those halves, put them together, I think you'll enjoy the whole thing of Furnace. Number 7 is Mind Management. Mind Management is a hunt someone down. It's based on these comics, which I went to read them because I wanted to do a little bit of background on the review that I did, and I ended up reading the whole graphic novel series. It was very interesting about these people who use mind powers. They're basically superheroes or villains, but it's all, ways to use their mind. Very interesting, and that's how this game is, as there is one person going around trying to recruit more people to the evil cause, and the other players are the good players trying to catch them. Think of a Scotland Yard style game, but this game also comes with ways to balance the game out. If the person who's running and hiding starts winning, then they start getting more bonuses, and then it kind of balances back and forth. But it is a more involved game than most of these. It feels fresh and innovative. Like when I talk about the games that came out this year, Mind Management is one of those where I'm like, this is not really like any of the other games. It's definitely worth your while to check it out. All right, number 6 here is Maglev Metro. Now, honestly, a lot of these best ones are also games I just was a little surprised by. Maglev Metro is a game in which you're running a little subway line, and the visual effects of this game has really stunning components as you place little clear tiles that show your subway line moving around, and it crosses other people. When you're done, the whole thing looks like a subway map, which I'm really happy about. But the game itself is really strategic as you are going around and picking up different passengers. There's robots in this game. As you pick up the different metal, silver robots and go deliver them off, and then you're dropping other people off at stations. But it's all through technology. Once you get these robots, you stick them here. I can make my train move faster. I can have it pick up more people. I can have it drop off more people. I can increase the capacity of it. I can build more tracks. And I'm also going for different victory points. It's really not a huge game. It's small, but it's fast, it's simple. You get a couple actions. The great components comes together. This is a really solid game worth checking out, Maglev Metro. Number 15 is one of the biggest games on this list, and that's Dinosaur World. Dinosaur World was the sequel to Dinosaur Island, and I think it's better than Dinosaur Island. Dinosaur World, you're building your own dinosaur park, Jurassic Park. And as you do this game, you're going to be collecting tiles, building this park, and then driving a Jeep through this park to go ahead and look at the dinosaurs or other exhibits, a casino, a ring toss that's on the horn of a dinosaur. You know, these different things, a food station. And you're trying to get points, trying to increase the excitement without having too many people die in the meantime. Because I might make a pen full of a lot of T-Rexes, but there's a chance some people get eaten in that regard. So all this comes, and there's a different phases of the game, a drafting phase where you're trying to get the DNA to get the right dinosaurs for your park. You are trying to put the right tiles, get the right workers. It's a fairly involved game, but when it's done, it feels very fulfilling, and I really like how the theme fits in here too. So that's Dinosaur World. Number 4 for me here is Chronicles of Dragoon. Dungeon crawls. You'll notice I tend to like these style of games, although I'm always looking for something different and unique. Chronicles of Dragoon, which I played with my kids, was just a bunch of fun. It has this really cool mechanism. When you go into a new room, there's a little paper door there. You take this door, you open it up, and it shows you the next room. So it does fog of war in a different way than I've ever seen done before in dungeons. And that's nice because you have this room. I don't have to look at a big map to see what's next. You can't see what's coming ahead. Instead, you open a door and boom, it shows this. And then I open that door and boom, it shows this. It also has interactions with different things in the game. And then there's combat, monsters coming around. And the combat is done almost in a Euro game style where you're using cubes. You do have these different color cubes. You use the cubes to activate different abilities. Except when you do that, then you're rolling, dice to see if you hit the monsters or not. And wow, it has a nice mix. It's a really good hybrid. The theme is a little generic of sorts, and it is a table hog, and it takes a while to play. There's lots of different a quest to go through, but you get to level up all the time. You get cool new things, and you have so many options of things to do. Each character feels extremely unique. It is a lot of fun to play. Chronicles of Dragoon. Number 3 is Terraforming Mars Aries project. This is one of 2 games, the other I'll mention in my top 10. This is one of 2 games that has kind of knocked Terraforming Mars off my list. This is the card game version, and it is straight up half Terraforming Mars and half Race for the Galaxy. Well, those are 2 of my favorite games. Does the combo work? And it really does. Now, it's not as fast and smooth as Race for the Galaxy, but it is faster than Terraforming Mars. Although not much. But I'll tell you what, the card play is what this one's about. Everyone simultaneously picks a card that tells you what phase we're going to run this turn. The person who played that card gets a bonus. But everyone gets to play the phase. And you're collecting money, increasing stats to build cards. And if you like the idea of having a big engine that lets you do a lot of cool things, this works well. It really is Terraforming Mars streamlined in many ways. It gets rid of the map and just comes down to collecting different cards. But I think the artwork is better, the graphic design works really well, and it's just a smooth, fun game that I've really enjoyed playing. So that's Terraforming Mars Aries project. Number 2 on my list of games that almost made my top 10 is Bad Company. Bad Company is one of those games in the genre of roll dice, collect resources. I love games like that. There's something about those that just really appeals to me. So in this game, you roll some dice, you collect resources, and here you're putting on heists. It's like an Ocean's 11. You have a bunch of criminals that are on your team, but then you can upgrade those criminals in a very funny way as their torsos elongate I know it sounds weird, but go look at the review to see how it works. And as you build these people up and when you roll their number, you get more things. You also have a speeding car that you're trying to move along a track to keep ahead of the police. It's actually one of the faster games in this genre, and it's just fun. The theme comes through, and again, one person rolls 4 dice, split those dice into 2 pairs. They get to use both pairs. Everyone else uses one of those pairs. So you're doing something on everyone's turn. It's a lot of fun. Bad Company. And my number 1 game, well, I mean, like I said, this could be number 11, is Destinies. Destinies is a storytelling game in which you are going through this fantasy medieval world, and it's a weird player count here. It plays up to 3 players. And 3 players, I think, is the best way to play it. And you have different goals that you have as a character. And you're going around, and this is using that same scanning technology that was in Chronicles of Crime. It's from the same company, Lucky Duck. And you're going around and discovering things, using cards. If I use this card here, magic is happening. It's a really strong storyline. It keeps you interested, even what other players are doing. I really, really enjoy this one. It is really in depth. It has a very, very cool mechanism on how to make skill checks. It's one of the most innovative games I've seen that does that, because usually skill checks are roll a die and you need to roll higher than this number. Here you get to roll multiple dice, and you're trying to match cubes that you're moving up and down these tracks. So you're trying to constantly move cubes down. Works really well, and I highly recommend checking out how that game works. That mixed with the technology, and I know some people don't like using apps in games, but I think this one works very flawlessly. It's a lot of fun, and it leads to some very interesting stories. So that's my number 1 on this list here, Destinies. So those are 10 more great games, and I don't want you to miss out on them. Check them out. This has been a fantastic year for gaming. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching 10 more great games of 2021.